Hi guys, welcome to the course. So from this app, To-Do's app, we're gonna learn a library called Redux. So how can we implement the Redux in our React app, which we're gonna learn in from following videos. So this is the To-Do's app. As you can see, this is the list of items or to-dos that you can do. Whenever you enter something, you can see this is the list will appear or added to this list, and you can also delete some items from it by clicking on this X font. Now one thing you can do also, that whenever you click on some text, you can see that it will be reflected back to this input, and you can edit this part and also save it at the same place. And one more thing you can do this is to delete all, so that all the list will be deleted. And I have added one more thing that's called you can say this is a local storage, like it has been stored locally into your browser. So if you just reload this page also, you will see this will be intact here. So these are the following things that we're gonna make using Redux. And you can use the simple state management that you do, but if you want to do some complex editing or many other things, so this is why we prefer the Redux library. And how to implement this, we're gonna see how can we do this in the following videos. So let's first of all, we're gonna do some styling, take some fonts and use the background, and also make this input tag in this video. So for doing all this, I'm going to not use the at this time VS Code. I'm going to use this code sandbox. In here you can see the live editor you can use in here. As you can just use something, it will be edited this part. So we're gonna use this part for coding. Now for viewing purpose, I'm going to uh, sort this, or we can use this web link for seeing what we can do. So in here you can see that we got the web browser list. Now I'm going to just widen this. Um, yeah Now in here I'm going to first use the fonts that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use the royal one. So in here where I can get the royal one, so in here I'm going to use this celestial part. Okay, it will be different, but this is the background that I'm going to use. So just click to copy in here. So from here you can just take the background that you want to keep in your browser. Now back to your code. In here in our style.css, in the body tag, I'm going to give the styling in here. So if you just save it, and you can see in here also that it will be changed. Yeah, right. Now I'm going to also give the font color to be some white, but not full white. uh, yeah. Now this is the font color, as you can see in here. Now one thing to do is to select the font style that I'm going to use. I'm going to use this Roboto. Now I have to embed this link into my code. So back to your index.html, just paste in here and just save it, and also use this font family also, Roboto. Now just go to your code and go to your style.css and paste in here. Now this is what it looks like now for Rafa. Now let's go to your app.js. I'm going to create new components in here. So first of all, what we're gonna create a input field component for the input tag, as you can see in the code, which I haven't built it right now. So I'm going to build in our source folder. Going to create a new component folder called components. Now in components, I'm going to create a new file called that the same input field .js. Now in input field, I'm going to use import React from React. Also the using the class component and the name of the class I'm going to give input field and extends to react.component. Also going to use this render method for rendering the JSX code, as you know. So in here I'm going to return it. Now also the export default for exporting this file so that in app.js you can import it. As you can see in here, this basically works like the VS code. Now in here for now, yeah, we're gonna create a form tag, and in the form tag I'm going to use the input field. Input field will have the type text, name to be to do, and the placeholder you can say enter your to do. Going to close it. You can see here we got the enter your to do. Also in our app.js, I'm going to use the h1 tag for giving the app that we are building, the name of the app that we are building. And in here to do app, we got the to do app. And also going to styling, I'm going to use css in js like inline styling. So in here I'm going to give to be text decoration to be underline. Okay, now I'm going to save it. In our input field we have to change the styling a bit. So in our style.css in here I'm going to give the styling in here. So basically the input tag will have the background the same as the in outside background. So you can give this border box so that it will have the same background as the body tag. Now for font color, I'm going to give the font color same as that we have given. So I'm going to give this one, and also I'm going to give the border top to be none. Okay, so in here I'm going to give maybe width of maybe 200 pixel. Yep. Now in here I'm going to just save it, and on also style.css I'm going to save it now, and just go to this React app and just refresh it. You can see that we got this entire to dos. And also in our input field I'm going to use this on change method. So first of all we haven't used the Redux, but we're gonna see the Redux in the next video. So in here I'm going to use the simply state management of the React that gives. So in here I'm going to use on change and going to handle change. I'm going to create a new our own method. So we need this dot handle change because we are using the class component, right? So for the class component we have to use this keyword. So in here handle change, as it's on change method, so it gives a event. So in event you can type in here this dot set state and to do e dot target dot value. That's it. So yeah, so we have made this in here. I'm going to also give some padding, maybe good. Yeah, so in here the padding you can give maybe 5 pixel, 5 pixel and 0. Okay, 5 pixel is good. Yeah, so this is the styling and all things are done. In the next video we're gonna see how can we, like whenever we type in here, it will add to a list in here, and this is all be done through the Redux part. Hi guys, in this video we're gonna see how to implement Redux. So first of all, I have included the libraries that we need Redux and React-Redux. So you can install it from a dependency and typing the name that you want. That's Redux, and the same as React-Redux. Now, first of all, why we need these two libraries? So Redux, as you know, that we need Redux implementation and also React Redux, because that's how React will be connected to the Redux code. Now, in here, if you using the VS Code, so you have to just type in npm space I space Redux space React Redux, and so that it will be installed in one go. Now in here I have also used created a new folder called Redux so that it will look nice, and we have created two new folder again inside the Redux called action Redux reducer and store.js. So why we made this, we're gonna see why it all have been made. So now first of all we're gonna see in our input field in here what I have used. I have created this on submit and this dot handle submit, so that it will call this handle submit function. So now in here what happens that whenever you call this method, it will call anything that is written inside this code, and it will be reflected back to this React app, and you will see, so look, you will see that we will have a list in here. So how we do this? So basically we're gonna see how can we do this. So in here in action I have created a new file called add todos.js. What happens in here that let's see what happens in here. So first of all what we're gonna do, I'm going to use export const, and I'm going to give a function call in here, and the parameter I will give, I'm just simply writing a function. Just you have to know that I am simply writing the function in here and returning something, because this bracket, as you know, this is returns small return. So we're gonna just return. This is the same as that. I'm going to, this is the same thing. Like whenever you type in here return, this is the same thing that what I am doing in here. So what I'm doing in here, I'm going to return an object. So I'm going to return an object. Now in here I have used this type key, and also there is one payload. So payload is to be payload. So basically I'm going to change this payload parameter to the name is to do. So we are sending, so what happens that this function, this method will be called by this handle submit. So it will look like this, that we're gonna use add to do, and we're gonna send this to do uh, object or to do name inside it. So let's forget about this. What I'm going to see in here, let's see in here. So in here I have said to do and giving the payload name as a to do. Now what's a type? We're gonna see what's a type. So basically I'm going to write a string in here. What it is, we're gonna see right now. So this is the action that we're gonna do. This is the method that we're gonna call whenever we handle submit, whenever we send the data from this handle submit button. Now let's see. Now in here, this is the reducer part, and this is the important part because we're gonna see why it is. So now in here I'm going to use, you can give the name anyone and you want. I'm going to give just name AG, just it looks good. So I have given the name add to do dot reducer.js. So I'm going to also change the name of add to add to do action.js. Now just save it. Now in here, first of all, we have see that we made some state. So this is the initial state that I'm going to make. And in initial state, what I'm going to give, the to-dos to be, first of all, it will be a null. Okay, or we're gonna see it's an array. What it is inside, there is nothing inside first of all. Now in here what I'm going to do, we're gonna export const add to do. This is a function that we're gonna call. It will take two parameter, that is state, this is the state, and the default parameter that I'm going to give initial state, and the action. Okay, what I am doing in here, what it is, that this state, as you can see, and this action basically is this one, this action. So what I'm going to write inside this code is to check that which action that we're gonna call. So how can we check? So in Redux we use this action dot type. So basically it's checking for this action dot type, and yeah, we have sent this type to be add to do. Now it will check for many actions, that's why we have used this type keyword, so that it will check which type of action that you wanna check. So in here, in our case, we're gonna see this add to do, right? And the strings to be same, so that it will call correct. Now I'm going to return something from here, and we will see later. And here, first of all, we're gonna default. As you know, in any programming language we need this default keyword, and in return it's gonna return the same state. Now in here, if you don't know the spread operator, just see this, that it's basically that we're gonna return the object, this object, but first of all it will spread all the uh, you can say all the content inside this state. So basically in our case this is only one, this is to do's, so it will spread these to do's. So we can type in here to do's, and in here what we know that we need state. So basically it's checking for the previous state, as you know, that whatever thing inside these to do's. And what we need concatenation, or you can give the push method. I'm going to give concat, and I'm going to push this concat payload. So yeah, this is the thing that you have to know, that whatever the payload that we get from this action, this is the thing that we have done in here. So whatever the action payload that we get, I'm going to push the content inside this state, and it's going to return a new content, new state basically. So this is the thing that we have made, but we have just made the, what we can say, we have just made the reducer or state, or we have made the action that we're gonna call, but this is not right now connected to our React code. So in our store.js, this is the, you can say, the powerhouse of the state, as you know, as you can see. So in here, what we need basically create store, and from where we will get from Redux, of course. So in here from Redux, what we need create store, and we need apply middleware. This is middleware, I'm gonna say that we will see right now. Yeah, so this is the apply middleware. So what's apply middleware, we're gonna see, but just import it for now. And in here I'm going to const store, and I'm going to export it. Basically what it is, why I have said this is the powerhouse of the state, because all the state that we're gonna give is going to store in a bulk way in here. It will be stored inside the store const. And how can we do this? We can do this using create store. This is basically we are saying that we are creating a store in here. So what we need, as you can see, that we need a reducer. So we know that the reducer, we need add to do reducer, right? We have made. So I'm going to just import it, and now we need some enhancer, any enhancer that you can give. We can just simply look down, but we need basically, if you want to debug any your code, so basically you need this apply middleware. So what we can give in here, so for this we are going to install one more dependency that's called Redux logger. So yeah, this is the Redux logger, as you can see in here. So just I have installed it for VS Code. Like if you're using VS Code, for this you have to use npm i Redux logger. That's how you can install it in your VS Code. Now in here you just have to give in here logger. If you type in here logger, it will be basically used in here. So this is how it can be done. Now we have made the store, we have made the action, we have made the reducer. What we need next is to provider. So what's provider in here? So basically the provider, you can say, is a root component, so that anything that we are going to provide is going to get inside all this field. So here we don't know if we need this. Yeah, we no, here we don't know this. We can give in here, but the best place to give any component is to be, basically it's, you can say, best practices, as you can say. So in index.js will be the best place to give in here. So in here you can give the provider method. In provider you can give the store, and if you type in here, basically in the VS Code also you can get this IntelliSense, as you can see in here that we got IntelliSense in here. So we can just use it here, and I'm going to just wrap it up. Yeah, so this is done. Now what we need next is, we have given the index.js all the storage, all the bulk of state inside it. As you can see in here that we got some to do's, but we haven't see how can we gonna call this method. So that's how we got one more connect. This connect we got from React Redux. So basically I have said it, what does React Redux does. It's like giving the code, React code to the Redux. So it's basically a bridge between React and Redux. So what we need, we're gonna use this, you can see double function method. As you can see, you can learn in Google that how can we do this. So it's like higher order component. So in here you can give here two argument we given. So first argument is map state to props. So basically from this map state to props, what we get the state, okay? And from map space to props is that how we're gonna call a function or an action. So we don't need this map state to props for now, because we're gonna call map dispatch to props. So in here I'm going to use create a map dispatch to props, and we need this dispatch, and it's going to return some object. And by returning some object, as you know, we're gonna use add to do. So basically dispatch means like we are dispatching some action. So it's add to do is an key, and we're gonna give to do as a parameter, and we're gonna use dispatching this add to do. We are extend, yeah, we have used add to do. Okay, we don't need add to do dot reducer, we need add to do dot action. So in here I'm going to check that which one, yeah, we need this one. So yeah, we have got this add to do dot action. So in here I'm going to call this to do. Now if we just going to call in here, so now what we get in the class that we have changed this dispatch to a props, and the props name is add to do, and the thing that we're gonna send is this dot state dot to do. So I'm going to save it. Now it's time for seeing this in action. Now back to your React app and just seeing that it happens or not. Okay, just go to your console, because in here you're gonna see in here in action. That's why we have used this logger one. So like we're gonna use it. Okay, just type in here. As you can see in here that we got an action. So this is what we are seeing is not because of React Redux. This is because of we have used the middleware called logger. So it's logging out all the actions, all the payload that we have given. So in here you can see that we have called a payload payload that we have given in here, and the type add to do. So this is basically seeing which action that you have called, and in here you can see that we have added one this to do's. Now if you see again, we can call again and again, and it will be stored inside it. So we have cross, like we have do one thing that we have made redux, we have made the action, we have made reducer, we have also made the store, And we have also send one action, we have dispatch one action. Now let's see how can we use this map state to props that we have used. So now you can see how we can use map state to props, that which component that we need map state to props. So in the next videos I'm going to create new folders such as to-dos list and to-dos, so that the to-dos will be in here. Hi guys, in this video we're gonna render our to-dos list below the input field. So first of all, I'm going to create a new uh, JS file. Let's say to-dos list. So in here, basically to-dos list is basically a list of to-dos component. So in here, in app.js, I'm going to render it. So in here, I'm going to use to-dos list, which I haven't made right now, but we are gonna make it. So in here I'm going to import React from React, and in here I'm going to use const, maybe, yeah, that's what we need only. Maybe I'm going to use the functional component. We will see that if it is required to convert into a class component or not. So in here I'm going to return it some JSX code. So first of all, I'm going to just export default to-dos list, right? Now in here, I'm just going to save it, and in app.js, it's going to be get imported, and we have successfully imported or not. Yeah, we have imported it. Now in here, basically, we haven't rendered something. That's why it's giving an error. But if you render something, it will not give an error. So basically I'm going to give it right now to those list. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's it. Now in here, as you can see, that if I just open this console and if I type in something, we got all the to-dos. We get the to-dos that we are typing in here. If we type in again, we got an array of to-dos. Yeah, this is the thing that we're gonna render below this input field. So now in our to-dos list, we again gonna use this connect, and by using connect, we're gonna connect this action and reducer JS file that we have used, so that whenever you use any action, it will change the reducer, and whenever we need some state or any store, we can get it from which we are gonna use map state to props, that what I have discussed in previous video. So basically in here I have used this map state to props such that any state, the state it's for now this to-dos, it's going to convert it into props. What I have said, just going to deliver it here. So I have used this state, we got this state from to-dos. So this is the state, as you can see in here, this is the state. Now in state we have to-dos, so we need to-dos, right? So we get state dot to-dos, and yeah, that's it. We get the to-dos, and now what happens, that this state is converted into props for this component. So now we can basically get from props, but I'm going to restructuring this to-dos. So we can just type in to-dos in here, and in here I'm going to render it. So if I just type in here like this and use this div tag I'm going to close it, and using the curly braces so such that we can type some JSX code. To-dos dot map, as you know, this is a, what you can say, it's a array, so it will be an array, and we're gonna give each component a key. So this is how we can see in here, and for now I'm going to just give him this to do. We get the name of it. Now if we just save it, so good, yeah, it's correct. Oh, we haven't closed it, right? Now it's good. Yeah. Now in here, if I just type in here something, you will see we got this text that we have typed in. And if I type in again, we got another one, we got another one, we got another one. So this is what we're gonna build it here. Yeah, you can see, but we need more functionality that it does. So that's why I'm going to create this to-dos list to do more than one thing, to only rendering things. So that's why I'm going to create one new file called to-dos. Hi guys, so let's start where we have left off. So we're gonna create a new component in here. In our components, I'm going to create a new file called to-dos, or just a to-do.js. Now in here I'm going to use import React. Yeah, what's happening? Yeah, so in here import React from React. Now again I'm going to use this as a functional component, and in here what we need, we got a to do. We haven't get it, but we're gonna get it from to-dos list, and we're gonna return some JSX code. For now I'm going to just use it a div tag, and inside the div tag just going to say this to do, and I'm going to export it. So export default to do, and in here I'm going to save it. Yeah, I'm going to save it, and in here we are going to give this to do that we have made a component is props. Now I'm going to save it. As we see that we got the same result that we have seen previous, but why we have made this type of things changes? Because in here many things that we have to do, like that I have said in here in our actual project to do, that we have to use this x1 to delete something, to edit some part. So that's why I have made a new component for this one. So let's get started with this part. Now in here what we need, in here we're gonna use it as a flex direction row. So going to styling some part. So first of all in here I'm going to styling, and going to give a styling of display flex. I'm going to give flex direction to be row, sorry, column, so that it will be aligned as a column. And going to give, yeah, this is the only thing that we need. Yeah, so now introduce what we need. Introduce, we need the same thing, but we need display to be the flex, and flex direction to be row. and justify content to be space between. Now this is what we need. Now in here I'm going to create a new div again, and inside this div I'm going to give it the props that we have made, and again I'm going to create a new div, and inside this div I'm going to give this x that you have seen. Now I'm just going to save it and just checking in here. Okay, it got something, but it's not look styling, but that's all. And in here what we need again, okay, so we can do one more thing, like we can give border in here, border to be 1 pixel solid, solid, and giving the same color. Okay, what's happened? uh okay, now, yeah, and giving some padding also, padding to be 5 pixel maybe. And now it's okay. Okay, good. Now that's it, or that's it what we need for now. And also whenever you enter this should be got all eliminated, right? So it will get all cleared out. So for this one, what we need in here, that whenever we this dot handle submit, this dot set state to be to be what, to be this. Now if we just save it and go to our code, and if we just type in, okay, happen. mm, it's not changing. Okay, okay, oh yeah, so we have to give in here value also. So if we just gave it here value, this dot state dot to do. Now if we just save it and if we just do it again, it will change. You can see that it will be changed. And one thing with we have to do, we have to delete all the particular keys that we are sending in here. So for this one, what we have to do in our to do, that whenever we click on this one, we have to fire some action. So we haven't made it. Okay, so in our to do dot action, I'm going to create a new and say going to create a new export const delete to do. I'm going to send the key, right? So that's the key through which we're gonna delete it. And the type the same is, so that in the reducer you can check for which action that you wanna send. And this is the payload that you're gonna use, the key part. And in here our action, okay, in our add to do dot reducer we need the action part. So in here our case will be delete to do, and I'm going to return something, return dot state and to do's. And in here I'm going to filter out the data that we need. The state to do's dot filter, as you know, that's what I'm going to use. And to do, and giving the I as a index, and in here I'm going to check for I is not equal to action dot payload. This is what we need. And now the second thing with what we need, we're gonna give some action, we're gonna create action, right? So therefore that part we need this connect keyword, and we have imported it. And in here the first part is to be null because we're not needing any state, we need to dispatch action, so that's why we need map dispatch to props. We can write any name that you want, but this is a conventional way to write some name. You want to type in any name that you want, there's no problem for that. So I'm going to use map dispatch to props and going to use dispatch. Now in here what we need delete to do, you can also give any name that you want in here, but after that the function that you're gonna call is to be the same. So what we need, we're gonna send the key, right? So we're gonna dispatch this delete to do, we get from delete to do dot action, so yeah. And now in here key, now the key that we want to get is here, so we have to send the key as a props too. So in our to-dos list I'm going to send this idx to be as a key. And if you got some warning in here, so because this is to be a to check the React that we are sending, no, we are not sending some duplicate, so this is a key equal to I. Now I'm just going to save it, and in here we got idx, we got delete to do as a prop, as an action to be a prop. Now I'm going to call it from here and going to call it delete to do and the idx. Just save it. Again you have to write in something, just type in here, and if I just click on this one it will be deleted. Also going to give this one as a styling to be cursor to be pointer, so that it will be visible that what we have done. So yeah, so that's it. If I just type in here again and again, you can see if I just delete on it, yeah, you can see it is been deleted. Hi guys, in this video we're gonna see how can we edit some text. Like whenever we just click on this part, we can see that the same text will be reflected back to this input field, and we can edit that part. So go to your to-do.js. So in here, in our cursor dot, I'm going to just use cursor dot pointer in here. And now what we need, whenever we click on it, it will be reflected into this part. So yeah, so go to your add to dot action. I'm going to create a new action, and in here I am going to change it to edit to do and to be a key, because we are sending the key, we are sending the index actually. So type to be edit to do, and payload I'm going to give the key. Okay, now this is what we need. And our in here what we need, we're gonna use a new case that we are going to create. This is the edit to do case. Now in here I'm going to use return dot state. So not what we need the text, right? So, and this text to be needed from, like we need this text many places. Okay, just yeah, the text that we need in here, and also in here. So that's why we are using as it's a globally. Now in here the text that we need is state dot to do's and state to do's and the action dot payload that we are giving. Now that's all what we need, but in our input field you have to change like the way that we are changing the text handle change and handle submit. Handle submit is good, but handle change to be changed, that we don't need this state. Now we need this text, we need this text that we have made in here. So there is no way around, so we are changing it. So go to your add to do.action. We are going to create a new action again. We are going to create export const add text, and the value that we are going to give it the same as event.target.value, and its type you can give add text and payload to be value. Now go to your attribute.reducer. Now in here the case that we need is add text, and we're gonna use return and state and the text that we're gonna use. So action dot payload, we have made this far. Now in here we're gonna dispatch new action called add text, and we are giving the value, and we're gonna dispatch add text, and in here the value. And also we need this map state to props, okay, so that we can get the value of the text. Map state to props state and the value that we get, so text, and in here state dot text. Yeah, that's all what we need. Now in here we don't need this part, we need not this part. Now what we need in here, this dot props dot add text e dot target dot value. That's what we need. We also not need this. We need this dot props dot text. We also not need this part because we are going to change it in the reducer part, and we also not need this part. We need this dot props text. Yeah, that's basically what we have to do. Now again in here to do, we're gonna set to nothing, so that's why we need this one. So now if we just save it all the files, and just yeah, now if we just use it here working the same way, if we delete some part it's going to work in the same way. Now only one thing to do, that this part to be reflected into this and to be editable. Now go to your this edit to do, we have done this part. Now just to use the action that we're gonna create in our todo.js. Yeah, now what we need this edit to do, and we are going to send the key also. So dispatch edit, okay, we have used it, yeah, edit to do and the key. And in here in the props we get this edit to do, and whenever we click on this it's going to dispatch this props, means dispatch this action. So edit to do this key. Now just save it. Okay, not a key, it's a index that we have passed in as a props. Now if we just save it, we can see that it's working. But as you can see that if we just save it, it's not editable at the same place. It's actually editing, means it's actually rendering again. It's actually pushing the text again and again. Okay guys, let's start where we have left off. So whenever we click on it, we have to save in the same place. So for doing this, we need to create a new store, new value. Let's say selected. Like whenever you select some part, then it's going to give some another, like it's called if else, you can say. Yeah. So in here, if you edit, like whenever you click on it, this selected will be changed uh, to the value of this index. So we are using this action.payload. Why we are using it? That's because in our input field we are going to use this selected one. Like in here, whenever we submit, we are going to check for this dot props dot selected. We haven't get from the map itself props, so we are going to use it. So selected state dot selected. So we got this dot props dot selected, but we are going to use if this dot props dot selected to be any value. So it's going to pop up another. It's going to fire another action. That's not what I'm going to use. So let's create a new action. Yeah. So in here I'm going to give name export cons edit add to do. Like it's going to fire the editable part. So in here what we need the action.payload. Okay, we need, yeah, we need only one part. We need this payload, means we need the text value. Yeah, so the value we need, and I'm going to use a type. Okay, edit add do, and the payload to be value. That's understandable. Now go to your reducer. In our reducer, in our we are going to create a new case. Now edit add to do, we are going to return state again, but now we are going to use this to do's again. State dot to do's dot map to do and I for the index part. And what we need is that if I is not, if I is not equal to uh, what selected. Okay, so this is also we need from state dot selected, and we're gonna change to the same part, that is to do, or else we need action.payload that we are getting. So you can understand what I have written in here, that if I is not equal to state.selected, then we need the same to do that we have had. Now if it is equal to, like it's false, then we need the action.payload. Okay, that you understand. Now just going to save it, but we also need a select to be undefined because we don't need to be going else. But if we use select to be undefined in here, so state.selected is going to be get to be false, to be undefined. So what we need in our attribute action, we don't need only value, we need also the selected part. Okay, now in our attribute reducer, we are gonna need, okay, we have to give it like this. It's an object, yeah, it's an object. So just send it as an object, so just send in an object. So obj, what's in obj we don't know for now, but I assure you that we need action.payload dot value, and in here action.payload dot selected. That's what we're gonna give it to it. And also going to change this selected to be undefined. Yeah, that's all what we need. Now go to your where input tools, input field. Now in here we need another dispatch, we need edit, add to do, and going to give an object and dispatch, edit, add to do, object. We haven't imported it. Yeah, it's going to import. Yeah. Now in here, if this dot props are selected, or if this dot props dot selected equal to 0, because it's not going to check for this part. Yeah, that's because. Now let's see what we can do in here. I'm going to use this dot props dot edit add to do. Okay, edit add to do, and we are giving payload. So the first payload is value. Okay, so value to be same as this dot props dot text, and second one is the selected one. So this dot props dot selected. Now if we just going to save it now, yeah, that's all what we need in here. Okay, let's see that it's working or not. Now if we just click on it and just going to check it, yeah, it's working. Oh yeah, it's working. Okay, some new things also we have to add, like it's going to clear out all the things in here. So in here what we can do, we can add what we can add text to be, okay, Yeah, this is what we need. Now if yeah, that's all what we need. Now just check it here, it's working or not. Okay, it's deleting. Now if you just change it to something else, it's working now. Now one thing we can do more thing that whenever you type in here and whenever you click on this and you just going to edit here, and you can see the same thing happening in here also. So for doing this, what we can do, go to your todo.js, and we're gonna use this text part. Okay, we haven't used map state to props in here, so I'm going to use map state to props again, and going to a const map state to props, and also going to use state. And yeah, in here we're gonna use the text that we're gonna get. So what we have, I have used to do okay, so I can use in here. So state dot text. Now also we need one more thing, we need the selected part. So in here selected to be state dot selected. Now in here state dot selected we have gotten. So selected we get the text. Now we are just going to give the hello operator part that we have used in here. So let's see how can we do this. So if selected is false, as you can say, then no, we cannot use like this. Okay, if selected is here, and if selected is equal to 0, and it's going to show, we can't use this part also. Okay, just use it selected. Okay, just use selected, then you can say it's a text, or else you do. Yeah, that's all what we need. Now let's just see in action. Now if you just type in here and just click on it, oh my, what's happened? This is not what we need. Okay, so what's the, okay, yeah, if selected is equal to the idx, right? So that's when it's gonna work. Yeah, you can see that it's going to work in here. Now if you just edit some part, as you can see the same thing happening in here. If you just use in here, it's going to happening in the same place. So yeah, we are halfway. Yeah, we are more than halfway, you can say. So all the things are done. The listen part also working. Now we just have to add a delete all part and do some overflowing action in here. Hi guys, we are now at the end of this to-dos app. Now let's create a button so that we can delete all the to-dos app. So in here I'm going to use a div tag, and inside the div tag I'm going to create a button, and button to be given just a button. Yeah, just a button, and the button name is delete all. And just going to save it. Okay, now just going to give some styling too. So I have also used style.css. So in style.css, just going to give the button some styling. So the styling that you can give, background to be same as content box you can give. Okay, so we have to change the color of it, and the same favorite color of mine, going to give white, but not full white. Now this is the color that I want to give. Okay, there's one problem happening. Yeah, that's what we need. Now one more thing that I have to do, that border to be none, border to be none. Now this is done, but we have to use something about this overflowing, means the list will goes on, so we have to do some about overflowing of it. So in our, you can say to-dos list, yeah, in our to-dos list, I'm going to fix the size of it. I'm going to give the size of it 300 pixel maybe, and also going to overflow. Okay, so means it's more than enough. So overflow, I'm going to give overflow y to be give scroll or auto, yeah, auto you can give, and overflow x to be hidden. Okay, but we have to small it, yeah. Okay, this looks good maybe. Yeah, okay, just type in here something. Yeah, this is more than enough. Okay, just look into it. Yeah, now it's overflowing as you can see in here. Now we can just delete all as you expect. Now what we need, one more thing that we need whenever we click on it, that's to be do some action, right? So go to your where go to your app.js. So giving some styling to be given margin top. First of all, give margin top to be 20 pixel, and cursor to be pointer. Now this is what we need in here. As you can see, we got the delete all. Now what we need again, I'm going to create a new action such that all the data will be deleted, all the list will be deleted. So export const delete all, as the name suggests. So we don't need anything, we don't need any parameter for this one. Just use delete all and just all. Yeah, that's it. That's what we need in here. Go to your to-do.reducer, and the case that we need in here, delete all, and I'm going to return simply the state but without the state. That's, you can say, yeah, this is what we need in here. Now if we just save it and let's come on, yeah, in here if I just type in something, typing in, now if we just click on this delete all, oh wow, it's not working because I haven't added the action button, right? So just go to your this part and going to remove this part and going to convert this into ES6 functionality const app, and going to use arrow function. Now in here we need export default, just as the way that we need. So export default, we need this connect, and inside the connect we need first of all this null, because we don't need any state, we need action prop. Now in here I'm just going to use const map dispatch to props dispatch, and in here I'm going to fire an action. The action name is delete all, and yeah, so this is it, dispatching the action name is delete all. Now in here I'm just going to use the props. So in here we need this delete all, and going to use in here on click delete all. I'll just save it, and there is some problem in here. Okay, so it hasn't been imported disconnect. Okay, just import it. We have imported. Now if we just click on a delete all, okay, delete all is not a function. Why so? It should be a function. There is an error in here. Okay, okay, just type in here. Now if we just click on it, okay, so this is how we can use it. Like we haven't have a parameter in here, so we can use it like this. So just use it as a props. So now if we just click on it, it will be deleted. Oh, it will remain in here. Okay, so go to your add to do. Okay, go to your reducer, and if there is some text in here, just use it like this. Now I'm going to use it here, the local storage that I have talked about the persistence of the data. So how can we use it? Now first of all we need in here, we need in add to do, because whenever we add the list to be in here, and we also need at the delete to do, and also in edit add to do. So these three places we need, and also in the delete all also. So let's see how can we do this. Now in window, I'm going to use it here also. I'm going to use in here. So window, we can get from window dot local storage dot set item, and I'm going to use to do's do. Okay, I haven't talked about what this local storage means. So just go to your console. If you are in your console, just go to your console and just type in local storage. Local storage, you can see in here that I have got some storage in here, that this is the previous made storage that here you can see in here. So the same thing that we are using in here. So back to your code, in I have used this window this type of thing. So in here I'm going to use it, and what we're gonna use, we're gonna create a const reduce to, and just going to use it here. Now just save it, and it's an object, it's an array. So what we have to do, we have to convert into a JSON object. So it will be placed inside this window.local storage. So whenever we got from local storage, we have to convert this JSON format into an object format. So back to our code. In here, I'm going to save it as a to-dos 2 in here. And in here, we can see to-dos 2 like this. So basically this how we can save our items in our windows.local storage. We will see in the next video all the local storage that we need. So first of all, we're gonna see in here. I'm going to just saving in here. This is all going to save. Now if I just refresh it back, uh, okay, we haven't used the persistence one. Okay, we will see that later. Oh no, we will see it right now. Yeah. Okay, so in our add to do reducer, what we need, like whenever we call app.js, whenever we mount this project into our browser, it will call this component did mount that we're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to use hooks that we haven't talked about, and it will be the next series of the React course, and I'm going to just give you a taste of it. So this use effect is same as it it can be used as many life cycles of React. So in here I'm going to use this use effect as a component mount. So let's see how can we do this. So it's a use effect, this is a side effect you can say, and it's going to call this function that anything that we're gonna write in here. Okay, and I'm going to give this dependency is to be an array, empty array, so that it will be called only one time. So basically this means that it will be called, it is dependent on an empty array. So this is a component mount. Now in here in our action, I'm going to create a new persist one, export const persist to do. We don't need any payload in here. Now type, you can give anything that you want. I'm going to give persist to do. To do is basically you can say. Okay. Now just going to save it and go to your reducer part, and in here giving the type name, we got this, and now we're gonna use it here. So we're gonna return some to do's in here. So dot state, and to do's we're gonna fill it up with something that we haven't got it from the window.local storage. So we can get it from window.local storage dot get item, and the key that we're gonna provide, this is what we need, the key that we're gonna provide, and the set item is same as the key that we're gonna provide and the value that we're gonna provide. So the key in here is produce 2, and it's going to be parse, it's going to convert JSON into an object, and going to save is to do's, and in here I'm going to use it. to do's, but it can be to do's can be a null value. So for checking purpose, if to do's is not null, we're gonna use this to do's, or else we're gonna provide this empty array. This is what we have written in here. Okay, now just save it. Go to your we don't know it in here. We go to your app.js, and in here I'm going to call a new to do, persist to do, an action. I'm going to dispatch it, persist to do's. Now in here I'm going to call it uh, we can use it here because this is act as a props, so we can basically use it like this. So persist to do's. Now that's it, that's what we need. Yeah, just save it. Yeah, we got this one. As you can see that if I just browse it again, if I just refresh it again, it will be stored in here. So we can see that we have done the first part, or initialization part. How can we initialize? And now in the next video it will be last, we're gonna use refactoring our code, so it's just that all the class component will be converted into functional component. Also, there's one problem that whenever you delete some part of it, and if you just browse refresh it again, it will be reflected back again, so we have to tackle this problem also. Hi guys, this is the last video of this to-dos app. So we're gonna see how can we uh, save or persist the data whenever you delete any list or not. So let's begin with delete to do. So in here what we need const to do 3, and I'm going to just copy it from here and use it here, and in here we are gonna use to do 3 in here. And also we don't have to write the same code again this part, like, so what we can do, we can just create a new function in here, set persist you can say. So given to it, you can give the to do 3 as a param. Now we haven't created it, so I'm just going to create in here. So just use count set to do, and giving the to do and returning back, or just send, yeah, just use it here. So just copy this part and just paste in here. Now in here we don't need to do, we don't need. Okay, so to do's we can change this params to do it to do's. Now that's it, that's what we need in here. Now in here, okay, set persist, what I have said, okay, set persist. So just change the name of it, set persist. Now yeah, that's all what we need in here. So this is done, this is done. Now edit to do, we don't know need to have anything in here, we need in here. So const do 4, I'm just going to copy it from here and just going to paste in here, and also using the set persist and just giving the to do 4 in here. and also in here. This is done, and also the same thing you have to do in here. So in here set persist to be a null, empty array. Yeah, that's all what we need in here. So just check it here that it's working or not. Okay, just refresh it again. It's working. Okay, now let's check this one. Yeah, it's working. Now only one thing is to do, the edit part. So if we just use it like this, and if we just refresh it again, yeah, it's working. Yeah, whole thing's working. Now all the things has been done. Now one thing to be do is to refactor our code. Like we have used some code that we don't have to use it like this. So refactoring code is very needed in every branch of testing purpose. Also we need this one. So let's see where we need. Okay, we don't need this anything in here. Maybe in input field we need this. Yeah, so we're gonna convert this class component into, you can say, functional component. So how can we do this? So I'm just going to convert you remove this const using const. We don't need this extend now, extend keyword. We just need this part, and we don't need this one. We only need return. And yeah, just remove this part. And also in here we don't need this keyword, because this only we used in the class component, and we are gonna convert this one to be a const, as we have learned this part in the previous video, that for the functional component we can write, if you're gonna write our own component up our own methods, you can write it like this. And we can also use some destructuring also that we have seen in the previous video. So what are the destructuring that we need in here? We can use add text, we can use text, we can use selected, and that's all what we need maybe. So just remove this part, we don't need this part, we don't need this part also, and we also not need this part. Just removing it. And we also not need this part. It's a whole bunch of things that we have to remove, right? So this, so it will make our code less, like if you know how to do this. So we also don't need this part. Oh, we have to add this dot add to do, right? So I'm going to add it here, just using it add to do. Now this is done. We don't need this part, we also don't need this part also. Yeah, now this is done, all things working good. Now there is one more thing that you can do, right? I haven't talked it about like right now, but I am going to uh, I'm going to tell that if you are destructuring here also you can use. So basically state have this text and selected, right? So you can just destructure these things, text and selected. So we don't need any of it. We can just remove this part and use it like this. It looks much cleaner, right? It looks good, and it will work the same way that you can see. Now in our app.js, if we see the same thing is happening, no, the same thing is not happening in here. Input field is means fully done. Now in to-dos list, the same thing you can do in here also. You can just destructure these parts and convert this into this, and we don't need this one also. Now in here, this is the only thing that we need to convert. In to-do.js, maybe many things to be done. No, here also we don't need this. Okay, so in here also we can just destructure this text and selected, and remove these parts also. So you can just find out which are the things that are not needed, so that we can see that how the code can be reduced too much. Now in our action, you can see there are many things that to be done. Like in here, there's nothing to be done, but in our add tutorial action, you can also use it like this. No, we have made okay, okay. So this is the whole part that we need. Oh my, where is the input field? I can't see input. Yeah, we have input field, right? Now this will work the same way that you have seen. If we just refresh it again, it will work the same way. If we delete it, it will work the same way. Yeah, that's all. Thanks.